In this video, I'm introducing the topic of Trump's progressions, and I'll show what they look like year by year in the last few years, and I invite any and all to comment on what you think they may mean, and I will follow with one or more videos very soon explaining how I interpret them. But in the meantime, my program allows me to move this forward day by day, which therefore gives me a year-by-year look at Trump's chart. And so I begin by showing that if we see this as the birth with very late Leo rising, etc., and I move this forward 69 days to give us the progressed chart for his 69th year, which was 2015, and it would be the summer of 2015 when he turned 69. We see this, and in this chart we see that Libra is rising and Jupiter is traveling right on the ascendant. There's a progressed ascendant conjunct progressed Jupiter. We also see the progressed moon in Cancer, the sign of the zenith, the sign that it also rules. And the zenith is obviously in Cancer. The midheaven is also in Cancer a little bit later. And then we have the sun in very late Leo at the time. Now we move this forward by one day, which puts us in 2016 in the summer, and now we see that the moon continues to be in the 10th sign, in the zenith midheaven sign. The midheaven is a little further along in Cancer, and the sun is now very late in Leo, about to enter the Virgo sign by progression, and the ascendant is just a little bit further away now, so it's less than a degree ahead of the progressed Jupiter. So this is 2016. Now we go to 2017, and we see the ascendant a little more, now a full degree ahead of the Jupiter. The moon by now has entered Leo, and we see a cluster of planets in Leo. We also see the progressed midheaven about to leave Cancer, the sign of the zenith. And by now the sun is in Virgo by progression. Now one more to put us in 2018 in the summer, and we see the moon further along in Leo, the ascendant now almost 2 full degrees ahead of Jupiter. And then we go to 2019, and we see the ascendant now approaching 3 degrees or so, a little less than 3 degrees ahead of Jupiter. And we see the moon about to enter Virgo. This was at his birthday in 2019. So by July, this moon enters Virgo and is about to conjoin the sun, which it did in the late summer, early fall of 2019. There was a new moon in Virgo. Meanwhile, you see now that the MC is fully in Leo, and now we go to 2020. And in 2020, we've got the moon further along in Virgo. The ascendant is now a full 3 degrees ahead of the traveling progressed Jupiter. And the MC is in Leo, approaching a conjunction to Saturn, which you can see it'll make by next year. Let's take a look. By next year, yes, you see it there, just a little past. So in the late spring of 2021, the MC will cross over the Saturn. And back here is where he is in 2020 at the moment. So I'll leave it at that. I will follow up with my explanations, but as I say, I invite any and all to make comments. But I will say this: there are 2 important ways to look at these charts. One is to compare this chart to the original chart, to the natal chart, and see what these positions do to the original positions, which, in Trump's case, in case you were wondering, is these ones. So it's these in relationship to these. But you also do well to look at this chart all by itself and see what is happening to it. And in fact, a technique that is very useful but not used as often as I think it should be used is to realize that this chart receives transits in the same way this chart receives transits. Transits to this are more important, undoubtedly. However, transits to this can also be very revealing, and so I would counsel you to consider that as well when you are thinking about what to comment.